Carthage leads to a criminal investigation.
And hot temperatures continuing out there. Clear skies, just a few clouds. Pop-up storms still a possibility. We'll look at all of that in the forecast coming up.
Plus, a church in Pittsburgh hosting open house for its new child care center.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An 8-year-old girl is dead after becoming unresponsive on a flight from Joplin to Chicago. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. The incident happened early yesterday morning. A passenger on the flight said the flight attendant got oxygen for the girl when the family asked for help. The plane diverted to Peoria, Illinois due to her emergency condition, and an autopsy has been scheduled for today. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick look outside. I'm going to reset this real fast because that almanac thing loves to do what it does just to annoy me, I think. This is the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, sunny skies, plenty of people out on the road, temperatures warming up. And again, from our camera on the Cornell complex, if you look, there's a few clouds out in the horizon to the north. There's another one just above the Frisco building there. And that's what's going to kind of be that little catalyst if we see some pop-up storms. We started yesterday at 69, made it to 89, so you can see we're starting to get above that threshold of being normal, and we now do have at least Washington and the Nevada counties in northeast Oklahoma heat advisory until 6 o'clock this evening for heat index values that could reach up to 106. Temperatures already warming, upper 80s, and we've even got close to, if not at 90. Neodesha, Chanute, you were the 2 warm spots this morning, and you're the warm spots again this afternoon. Heat index values already into the low to mid 90s across the area, and it's going to stay toasty through the evening, only down to 78 by midnight. And again, in between all of this, a couple of pop-up showers or storms is possible, but most of us will remain dry. There's a little more rain on the way as we head into Saturday. We'll take a look at that in the full forecast and all this fun heat here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Thanks, Chris. Carthage authorities are investigating a homicide after the discovery of a female body in a camper trailer. The discovery was made yesterday just before noon on private property on the 600 block of North Main. The female body has been identified as 24-year-old Kenaya Lopez of Carthage. The investigation revealed that Lopez was a victim of homicide. A male subject on scene, Gavino McJunkins Marias, was detained for questioning, then later arrested for abandonment of a corpse. McJunkins Marias is now in custody at the Jasper County Jail. If you have any information in reference to this case, you are asked to contact the Carthage Police Department. A traffic stop for the Pittsburgh Police Department turns into a car chase and a narcotics bust. It happened around 9:30 Wednesday night. Officers with assistance of a canine unit stopped the vehicle for traffic violations. Police detained 2 of the occupants, Jermaine Justin Oliver and Tyreek Tutwiler. Police say the other occupant, William Tyrone Andre Phillips, drove away, nearly striking the officers. They caught Phillips after he abandoned the vehicle, and officers found a number of suspected counterfeit fentanyl pills and a handgun. It turns out Oliver and Tutwiler had warrants out for their arrest. Authorities arrested all 3 on multiple charges. Well, a federal judge yesterday sentenced a Galena, Kansas man who shot at police during a high-speed chase from Joplin into Kansas. 36-year-old Adam Kassler pled guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. It stems from a February 2023 incident where he led Joplin police on a chase that crossed the Kansas border. During that chase, authorities say he fired the gun at officers. He is sentenced to 13 years and 6 months in federal prison. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, drivers on US 69 in Cherokee County should be aware of some road work. KDOT began a resurfacing project this week, starting at US 400 on 69 and continuing south for about 18 miles to the roundabout at K66. Flaggers in a pilot car are guiding one-lane traffic through the work zone during daylight hours. You can expect delays of up to 15 minutes. They say weather permitting, the road work should be finished by mid-September. Mercy Hospital announces a partnership with the Joplin area Catholic schools to provide a tuition assistance program for its co-workers. The tuition program extends to 3 Joplin area Catholic schools. They say the partnership opportunity provides full-time Mercy Joplin, Mercy Carthage, Mercy Columbus, Mercy Clinics, and Mercy Galena co-workers with access to affordable Catholic education for their children. The Pittsburgh Child Care Center is expanding to meet a local demand for infants. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Sunshine Child Care Learning Center's expansion will add more availability for infants and non-school age children. Workers say the biggest demand is for infant care in their area.
That's where we put our attention to, and that's what this side here was specifically designed for.
There's not very many childcare in Girard. There's not much in Pittsburgh. Like people from Arma, things like that, they don't have childcare. So it is very nice to have facilities like this, to have a childcare and be able to provide it and not have to worry when you're a parent to take your kids somewhere or figure out where they're going to go.
The expansion was more than $300,000 at no cost to the church. An out-of-county grant by an anonymous donor funded the expansion.
It was from a different location. They heard of the project, wanted to know more about the project. 2 phone calls later, they supported the project, and we had funds, and off we were running.
The child care waitlist already has more than 42 families willing to pay $179 weekly for preschool and child care. The child does not have to attend Victory Life's church to be a part of the child care center.
The wait list is a first come, first serve. By the time we get to some of those, they've already found child care, whether it be a family member or an in-home service. And we understand that, but it's a first come, first serve. We have a wait list, and we just take them in the order that they call.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
For more information about Sunshine Child Care Learning Center, you can go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, Oklahoma lawmakers react to the state Supreme Court ruling in a lawsuit related to the Tulsa Race Massacre. And later, we're making TLC barbecued ribs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The Oklahoma Supreme Court sided with the city of Tulsa in a reparations lawsuit related to the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. The last survivors of the massacre sued the city of Tulsa demanding reparations. The lawsuit has been at the state Supreme Court for nearly a year. Devin Lyon has response from one state lawmaker who's not happy with the high court's ruling.
The decision was despicable.
State Representative Regina Goodwin is just one of several people unhappy with the decision by the state Supreme Court Wednesday morning.
They not only dismissed the case, but they dismissed the humanity of Miss Randall, of Miss Fletcher, of the Hughes Van Ellis family, and for many folks in this community that for 103 years have been going through this whole system that has not been just.
Fox 23 has brought you extensive coverage of the last survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre suing the city of Tulsa, demanding reparations. They filed a lawsuit in 2020, but a Tulsa County judge dismissed it in 2023. The survivors' legal teams then appealed to the Oklahoma Supreme Court that same year. Wednesday, the Supreme Court upheld the district court's decision. The state justices wrote in part, with respect to their public nuisance claim, though plaintiffs' grievances are legitimate, they do not fall within the scope of our state's public nuisance statute. We further hold that the plaintiffs' allegations do not sufficiently support a claim for unjust enrichment, nor do the allegations sufficiently support a claim for the unauthorized use of name and likeness.
So they're going to have to sleep at night. I know that we're going to continue to do what's right.
In a statement from the attorneys representing the survivors, they're not only calling for the state court to reconsider, but also for the federal government to get involved. The legal team says in part, quote, in 103 years since the massacre, no court has held a trial addressing the massacre, and no individual or entity has been held accountable for it. As justice is delayed once again in the Oklahoma court system, we call upon the United States Department of Justice to open an investigation into the massacre under the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act of 2007.
I think that the legal team is going to decide. I think they're trying to lay out what their next steps are. And I think folks need to understand this, that as long as there are generations born, we're going to continue to seek justice. Many of us are affected by this decision. And the bottom line is, when you say, what do we say to the community? We're going to say what we have always said. We're going to keep on keeping on. Our spirit will never be broken. We will always remember this act of terrorism, racial terrorism that happened right in this community.
Attorneys for Fletcher and Benningfield Randall said in their statement that they plan to file a petition for rehearing with the Oklahoma Supreme Court, asking the court to reconsider its decision. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Father's Day is coming up, so why not show Dad some TLC with what we're cooking today?
And the heat continues across the area. We'll talk about how hot it's going to get and if there's any kind of rain relief on the way when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So it has been relatively hot across the area. Unfortunately, it is going to remain that way for quite some time, and heat index values are also going to begin to climb. Let's start by looking at the future track. So remember what we've talked about the last couple of days about pop-up storms, because there's not a specific trigger for them. There's not a cold front, a dry line, some kind of storm system to set them off. The future track has a hard time depicting them, but it at least shows activity. Now, that's not to say at 4 o'clock there will be a shower right there, but it's telling us by showing us these little spots here that there could be some pop-up showers and thunderstorms in the area as we head through the afternoon and into the early evening hours. And then see, by the time we get past sunset, they fizzle out because these are fueled by the daytime heating. And yes, I know at 9 o'clock it's still hot, but they need that sunlight as well. Once we get past sunset, pop-up storms kind of fizzle out. We'll go partly cloudy overnight, and we'll see clouds begin to gradually increase toward the morning as we could see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're looking more initially at a similar situation to the pop-up storm chances we have today, where again, most of us will be dry. But as we head later into the day, we get a few more organized showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms here by the afternoon east of the 49 corridor, and that's where a lot of it seems to be confined. By 6 o'clock tomorrow, you can see more scattered showers and storms out there. Same thing even through 9 o'clock, so these aren't the pop-up storms once we get into the evening hours, but they are confined in the eastern half of our area. And as we go into Sunday, we are looking at the possibility of maybe some rain showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms rolling in early Sunday, and then we should actually end up clearing out and heating up once again. Our UV index today, this is the lowest it's going to be, at least for right now, because as we head into the weekend, it goes back up to that 10 status. So with a 7, it's still high. It's 30-minute burn time for exposed skin. So again, make sure you're taking precautions out there, and you got to stay hydrated. We do now again have these heat advisories for Washington and Nowata counties through 6 o'clock this evening. Heat index values could reach 106. So remember, on the heat risk potential, we're talking about how hot it could get. This moderate is on average heat index values that could approach 100. As we head into tomorrow, moderate spreads over the entire area, but we start to see splotches of major. That's where we get into that 100 to 105 degree heat index range. And by Sunday, as you can see, major heat risk potential across a good portion of the area. And as we go into Monday, purple is extreme. So that's good. We're looking at, in these purple splotches, the possibility of heat index values exceeding 105 degrees. So you've got to play it safe. You've got to stay cool. You've got to stay indoors if you can. And if you've got to be outside, take breaks, stay hydrated. There are some of those clouds. And again, some of those could ultimately trigger a pop-up shower or a storm. It's 88 in Joplin. Look at that though. 95 is what it feels like, and this is why I want to show you. These temperatures around the area, upper 80s, up to 90 at this point, but once you factor in these dew points, which are at uncomfortable levels, upper 60s and low 70s in that muggy to soupy range out there, we get heat index values already approaching the mid and upper 90s, near 100 in Veneta as we head into the afternoon. So hot conditions going to continue. You've got to stay hydrated. You've got to stay indoors if you can, or at least limit your time outside. The heat continues into the beginning of next week. Heat index value still easily about 100 as we start the next week as well. Then we could see again a few scattered showers on Wednesday that cools us down briefly, but we're going to turn around and heat right back up, low mid 90s as we close out next week. So just make sure you're taking precautions.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making TLC barbecued ribs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, fast food restaurants and barbecue shacks may serve them, but the best tasting kind of ribs can be the ones that you make at home. Howard is sharing his recipe for TLC barbecued ribs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With Father's Day coming up this weekend, you may be thinking, what can I serve Dad that'll show him just how much I care? Well, how about making slow roasted ribs that you can finish under the broiler or on the grill, depending on the weather? We start off by rubbing about 4 to 5 pounds of baby back ribs with a mixture of garlic powder along with some smoked paprika and a bit of salt and pepper. Now, we put these in a roasting pan, meat side up, and cover them tightly with some foil before roasting them off for 2.5 hours or so. While they're roasting, we can throw together a quick homemade barbecue sauce, which is simply some ketchup and mustard mixed with some chopped onion, brown sugar, a splash of vinegar, and a shake or two of Worcestershire sauce. Once they're fork tender, slather them with the sauce. I know Dad will be proud to serve these right off the grill, so get ready for some good eating. Team these up with his favorite go-alongs and dinner is served. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for TLC barbecue ribs as a way to show Dad just how much you care. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a finger-looking good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, it's going to be hot as we head into the beginning of next week and through the weekend. Heat index values could exceed 100 degrees over the next few days, so make sure you're taking precautions. Otherwise, some pop-up storms possible today, tomorrow, maybe a few scattered storms late tomorrow evening into the first part of Sunday. And then again, just hot aside from those showers on Wednesday. So again, can't emphasize it enough. Just make sure you're taking proper precautions, staying safe, staying indoors where you can, and
hydrated, all the things. Yes, absolutely. Well, coming up tonight at 5, inflation may be easing, but higher prices are still changing the way Americans buy. Now, more and more people are joining the no buy movement. We're going to take a look at reasons why people are pledging not to buy any non-essential items. Plus, 2 Pittsburgh teens are attempting to change the way students receive their education with their own artificial intelligence business. And the Battle of Carthage Civil War reenactment takes place this weekend. We'll take a look at this year's preparations. And join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.